My full name is Donna Jewel, Jule, Bamrick. My maiden name was Hoffreiter. I was pleased when I could change my name to Bamrick. March 18th, 1940, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. My mom and dad were Nadine and Don Hoffreiter. They met in Lexington, Nebraska, and Nana eventually, it was during the Depression, and people had lost jobs and money, and so Nana moved out here to find a job, and my dad followed her, and they got married here. Well, for most of her, she had some odd jobs, but her main achievement was she was head clerk for the Selective Service. Do you know what the Selective Service is? That was during the war, and the young men had to come to the draft board and sign up for the war. And she did that for 30 some years. He was, by trade, he was a painter and decorator. Um, he started when he was very young with his dad. And that's what he did his whole life. He was in World War II, Marine in World War II. He saw a lot of combat, a lot of bad memories. He was wounded twice, almost died the second time. And so, because of his injury, he was sent home. And in one of the other questions you're going to ask me, he had a lot of trauma when he got back home, and became a heavy drinker, and he did the best he could trying to be a father, but he had to get through a lot of bad stuff. Dorothea and John Bamrick. Grandpa John had a trucking company. They hauled cattle. And Dad grew up on a semi-trailer truck. And he did that until he died. She kept books for some of the cattle companies. My mom was an outstanding lady. She was loving and supportive, and she tried to make up for the lack of parenting that my dad wasn't capable of. And my dad was, he was very creative. Not only was he an excellent paper hanger and painter, and he did some of the most expensive houses in Scottsbluff, but he also made beautiful Indian jewelry. Um, he was, that's, I think that's when he was at his finest, when he was working with his creating things. Oh gosh, she was always there. Every little thing that I was involved in grade school and in high school and everything, she was always there. Um, my dad didn't go with her very often, um, but she was always there, and she was an outstanding lady. I think the one of the favorite memories is him down at his workbench making jewelry. Oh gosh, my mom, my mom, of course, taught me to love and forgive. My dad showed me how strong he could be at times, and so whenever I needed strength, um, I thought of him. Um, Jesus, um, Bill Carroll, he was my sixth grade teacher, and I'll tell a story about him later. And Warren, my uh, dancing mentor, and my mom. Um, and what was the question you asked me? Because my sixth grade teacher, Bill, made such an impact in my life, I'd have to say him.
Yeah.
But of course, there were others. Roosevelt Grade School. Well, in fifth grade, I had a horrific experience. I hated my teacher, hated her with passion. She made me she made me feel inadequate and dumb, and I know that this is just a lot of what I had to work through, but I hated my fifth grade year. Um, and when I got into sixth grade and I had Bill Carroll, he made such a difference. He acted like he valued me, and come to know he did, and made me feel um, that I was worthy, and um, he made me value or helped me to value myself. He was so wonderful. I went to class every day, and in fifth grade, I thought of every reason I could to stay home from school because I hated it so much. But I blossomed in sixth grade, and he helped me prepare for junior high, and that helped me all through graduation. You hit it on the nail, honey. I think that's one of the reasons that he made such an impact in my life. I was replacing my father. We kept in touch all through the years. He came to my wedding. So that's the story of Bill Carroll. And at that time in my life, he saved my life.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
thank you, Bill.
Put your hands down.
Will you put your hands down?
Yes. Yes, Chad.
Oh, does Chad give you a hard time on that? too?
Yes,
That's
yes.
fair.
Well, that's when I started dancing. So at that point in my life, everything revolved around dancing. 10. I think Nana, my mom, always had a deep desire to be a dancer, to take dancing lessons. But of course, like I said, that was during the Depression, and there's no way they could have afforded lessons for her. So she insisted that I get started. And I loved it, so. Twice a week, and when I went on tow, it was 4 times a week. I think the recitals. My group of co-dancers were much older than I. I was still in grade school, and they were all in high school. Um, and I don't mean to be vain about this, but I was good enough that my teacher put me in with the high school girls. And so I wasn't really close to them, but that's who I was with. I put dancing as a priority. I learned about hard work, about dedication, uh, being creative. Till I was 17. I love to express myself. And that allowed me to do that without having to speak. That sounds funny, but I am not a good speech maker or having to do anything like that, but I could dance and express myself fantastically, and I didn't have to say anything. I was involved in choir and all those things like that, but I didn't participate in sports at all. Oh, popular music.
Who was?
This is going to show my age. Pat Boone, Dinah Shore, Connie Francis. Oh, there's so many of them, honey. We grew up together. We lived next door to each other, and when we were little, it was during the Depression and nobody had anything. But Mike, Papa, his parents had gotten him a swing set. And so I would go over there and want to swing on the swing. Papa didn't want me to swing on the swing. And so I either bit him, and then how did he retaliate? And then, of course, we grew up together, going to the same schools in South Bluff. And but it wasn't until after we graduated. Papa bought a brand new car, beautiful red Chevy. He took Grandma and Grandma's friend and his sister Debbie, and Patty was a baby. Some boys were drinking. They ran a stop sign out in the country. It killed one of the boys. It killed Debbie. They found Patty out in a field, and the only reason they found her is because they heard her crying. Grandma and everyone was seriously hurt. I was on a date, and we went to this guy's house, and his mom was telling us about the accident, and when she said it was Mike Bamrick's family, well, I just went all to pieces. So my date took me up to the hospital and dropped me off, and I spent practically 5 days with just little breaks in between with Dad in the hospital. He asked me to marry him in the hospital. It wasn't romantic at all, but it was meant to be. Well, my parents didn't have a lot of money to spend on a wedding, but it was a mass, complete wedding mass. There were probably not more than 80 people there, and Bill Carroll was there. And then we just had the reception downstairs, in the downstairs, and that's before they remodeled the church. So it was the reception was nothing to shout about. There was cake and punch, and that was it. Nancy, at that time, the Catholic Church said you had to have a Catholic be your maid of honor and best man. So, of course, Nancy wasn't Catholic. So I had Sharon, Papa's sister, be my maid of honor, and Nancy was a bridesmaid. um, Children and grandchildren. It was when I married Papa. And the children were Grape, Chad, Chalet, Corey. Were coming so fast and furious that I wondered if I should have gotten married.
And
Oh, and I'm so thankful now. But at that time, I was questioning. My mom.
your mom. Yeah. Saving grace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jerry was the oldest, then Papa, Sharon, Jeannie, Debbie, Patty. Jerry was, we spent a lot of time together in Scottsbluff. Did a lot of sharing and went places together. And I will always treasure that, Jer. You, you were like a sister that I didn't have, and I value you then, and I value you now. And please stay with us for a while longer. Patty was like one of our children. She was so young, 2 or 3, I think, when Papa and I got married. And she spent a lot of time with us, went on some vacations with us, and Patty is a treasure. You'll always be our girl, Patty. You'll always be our girl. Well, one of the things I'll always remember is all the cattle sales that I went with him. I got to know cattle pretty well, but the best memory, he was a good dad. Sometimes a little too extreme, but he loved all the kids and especially the grandchildren. It would be for Evie and Elodie. He would have, oh, he would have gotten the biggest kick out of having a great grandchild. Yes, I wish he could have been here to meet them. My longest friend is Nancy Rayford. Her maiden name was Rhodes, Nancy Rhodes. We went through high school together. She is a very close, dear friend. Jeannie Noblet, my friend here in Greeley. She is so special. She has supported me, encouraged me, shared with me. I care about others, but the two bestest are Nancy and Jeannie. Well, in high school, some event, evidently. And Jeannie, when we moved here to Greeley, I met her in church. Papa's job. He was traveling, going to all the cattle auctions. And so it was just get closer to Denver. And no, I think we are all famous in our own way. We're all here for a definite purpose, and in any way that we contribute to goodness makes us famous. Again, Jesus, JFK, and Bobby Kennedy, because I think they had a real vision for this country, and they weren't allowed to see it through. Wow. Uh, what do you feel is one of the most valuable lessons that we need to learn? And I believe he would say love, compassion, service to others, and forgiveness. A lot. The one thing that came immediately to me are self-driving cars, flying cars. I know I will never experience them, but they will be fantastic for those in the future. Oh, yes. Oh, I wanted to drive so badly. Oh, my goodness. Um, and that's one of my favorite, now that you brought it up, my favorite memories of my dad. He bought me a car. It was definitely not one I would have picked out for myself. It was ugly. It was big. It was heavy. Um, it was brown. But I was so thrilled to have a car that I was very grateful. Yeah, it was an old Oldsmobile. Definitely. the assassinations of the Kennedy brothers. Papa and I and Greg and Chad and Shelley was just a baby. We had just moved to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I was fixing lunch one noon, and it came over TV, and it really tore Dad and I up. Yeah, that was a real tragedy.
Is that one of the reasons you would have, if you could, you'd like to have dinner with them?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
For me, I saw their goodness, and I believe that they had a vision to make this earth a better place. They made mistakes, of course, but I really admired them, and I don't know that I can pinpoint one thing. It's just something that was there. Was at the grocery store checking out when it was on the big TV. I just couldn't figure out what was going on. Oh yeah, how I could have missed that. Yeah. And to see all those people running for their lives. The Vietnam War, I did not agree with. The Kent, do you remember the Kent shootings? College? You know, everybody was talking about it and saying, well, those kids shouldn't have been out there protesting and all that. And I said to Mike, my husband, I said, did they have to kill them? What if those were our boys and they were at Kent State? And he didn't have a reply to that. Oh, Tyler, there's so much. We have all had to experience, and you guys still have a lot in front of you. Just remember to be grateful for the goodness in your life, and love, forgive. Thank you for asking that question. It started in the 50s. I love the 50s music, the 50s movies. But each decade has offered to me new insights, more people to love. So each decade has helped me to grow within myself. Dancing. simple as that. I mean, of course, there were happy times, but to really feel alive, to know that I had achieved what I wanted to achieve on stage. That's when I felt alive. And teaching. I started teaching towards the end, and I enjoyed that also. I never broke rules.
Oh, of course not.
One night in my senior year, 5 of my friends got together and and drank some beer and went around to some of the boys' house, usually the football guys, and teepeed their house.
You teepeed their house?
Yeah.
Atta girl. How many houses? How many houses did you guys hit?
5.
You hit 5 houses and you teepeed all of them?
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Do you remember the girls that you teepeed with?
Oh, yes. Susie, Nancy. Well, Nancy was all tangled up with Raleigh, so I don't know if she went with us. Meg. Oh, I can see their faces. But that's the only time I did anything bad.
Oh, just that one time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No cutting lines or taking an extra sample when you shouldn't have? Like when you go shopping and you get a free cake sample?
I did not ever steal, and I don't know why. The earliest book I remember reading myself, Nana read, my mom read books to me, but she bought this book for me, and it was a series, and it was called Cherry Ames Nursing Book. It started out with student nurse, senior nurse, hospital nurse, army nurse, and it just, there was about 20 in all. No, I gave them to the library. Dirty Dancing, Ghost, Matrix. There's more. A Star is Born. 3 versions. I adored the version that Barbara Streisand did.
Okay.
I didn't like Lady Gaga's version at all.
Okay.
I went on such a binge for 3 or 4 years after Papa died that I can't even begin to. Oh, I know, The Hunger Games. Definitely a writer. Again, it's that wanting to express myself, like with dancing. I love sending cards and letters to all my granddaughters and now my boy. I love doing that. But I would have liked to attempt it, to do that. it would be storytelling.
Story.
Clark Gable, the old, really old.
Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I really like some of the older books because I like to read about them setting their table and having their little teacups. But the one that really stands out is Gone with the Wind. Well, I grew up as a Catholic, married in the church. All the kids were baptized. Um, all the grandchildren were baptized, except Rookie. I embrace all the religions. I respect them. I'll tell you about myself. Um, I believe that we are we are all put here for a reason. I believe we all have our own path, our own journey, and that has to come from within. Um, I hope I have not offended anyone. Well, the trips to India, that's when you really see poverty. Now, I question many things about that trip. Um, but it was spiritually uplifting just to see how the poor live, what they settle for, and made me appreciate home. Oh, yes, Hawaii.
Do you have a favorite island?
The only one I've been to is the popular one, not the big island.
Oahu?
Yes, yes,
Is that where you'd want all the family to
yes, yes. If I had the time and money, I would take them to
go?
Oahu. I went with Greg and his family.
Oh.
Yeah, that was it. It's beautiful. The weather's great. It's really beautiful. Oh, honey, I can't remember where all we went, but one of the things I really remember and enjoying was it was outdoors on the edge of the ocean, and they had this wonderful, wonderful buffet and drinks, and it was so wonderful. And then the Hawaiian dancers came out, and they really put on a show. They are so talented. I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah. No, I don't swim. Um, but on one of our family trips, it's when Chad was living in Mexico, and it was his for his 50th birthday. And we all went out there, and I don't know how, but they talked me into, is surfing where you just put your face in the water? Snorkeling, yes. I actually did that. Greg and Shelley were on each side of me. But for a little while, I did it by myself. And I was really proud of myself that I got in the ocean. We had moved to Greeley. We went back to Scottsbluff to see my mom. My dad had passed. And we were coming back on a Sunday night, and it started really, really, really snowing. It was a terrible storm. And right after we got past the state line, they closed the road. It was a complete whiteout. I was scared to death. Papa was driving, of course, and I knew he was a good driver, but I had never been in a whiteout like that. And I thought we were going to die. We were going to just drive off the road, and yeah, I was really scared at that time.
That's good.
Well, we stopped in Kimball, Nebraska, and there was one room left.
Oh,
And so we stayed all night and drove out the next day. One other time that I was really scared, we went on a family vacation. We lived in Scottsbluff at the time, and we went to Estes Park, and we were at a motel, and we were at, Corey was just a baby. He was still in diapers. And we were at the swimming pool. How Corey got to the edge of the pool, I don't know, but he fell into the water, and it was the deep end. I could not swim. Nobody else was paying any attention. I started screaming, and Greg saw Corey in the water, so he dove in, got him, pulled him up, That was a really other scary time. So Greg reminds Corey that he saved his life. Um, no. Well, of course, being a dancer, being a mom and a nana, that's very, very important to me. That's, I, I think that's my purpose in being here. That I am worthy, that I am good enough, that has made the most biggest impact. Learning new beliefs about the universe. As far as myself, I have learned to value myself. My family. my family. Uh, that's it in a nutshell. There isn't anything greater than my family, and that's the thing I'm most grateful. Greg, his phrase is to be of service. He's always doing for other people, like helping old folks. And during COVID, he delivered meals to people who couldn't get out. Chad, Chad is an encourager. Yeah, I don't know what I would have done without Chad these last 12 years or however long we've been together now. Shelley is a great friend. She'll do anything for her friends. She's a great friend. Corey, my baby boy, he feels deeply. He doesn't always show it, but he feels and loves deeply. There's a question that we didn't get to about what do you love about, what are the characteristics, qualities that your grandchildren, they are all so loving, so giving. They just, they make me all feel so special, and you spoil me, every single one of you, and I love you for it. You are so special to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one more little story. Do we have tape?
Mm-hmm.
There was something in the question about what was your favorite family vacation, and one among many, when we lived in Nebraska. Nebraska won their way to the Orange Bowl. And Greg and Chad talked Mike into taking us out to go to the Orange Bowl. And Patty went with us, Mike's little sister. And it was quite an event. The first thing that happened, the kids were all kind of giddy and everything about being in Florida and hotel, and we went into a restaurant in the hotel to get something to eat and couldn't find Corey. We were all together, but Corey wasn't there. So we went looking for him, and he was young, maybe 12. Anyway, we came upon the elevators, and there was a long line waiting to get on the elevators. Well, Corey had gotten in the elevators and jammed the elevator. So they had to call all these people, and Corey said when they got it fixed and he was on the ground, those people were not happy with him. Another thing on that trip, we went on a fishing boat to get big fish. Only this particular boat was an old one, and the gas fumes were terrible. Well, most of us got sick. Patty got really sick. There were some, I don't know if they were Chinese or that they were Eastern. Um, they could not stop heaving. And the captain of the boat had said, if you have to puke, you go on this side of the boat. Well, I don't know if they didn't understand him or what, but they were just puking wherever they were. And finally, the boat captain came up and just took the one that was doing the most vomiting, picked him up, threw him overboard. Of course, they went and got him right away. Oh, yeah, that was a fun trip. Yeah, that was a fun trip. When you jump across trees, what's that called?
Zip lining?
Huh?
Zip lining?
Yes, yes. Well, they knew that I couldn't make it because there were a lot of stairs. And so Corey, Shelley, and Greg and Chad took me to a show while they went ziplining. They had to get behind Shell towards the top because she was so exhausted. She said, I can't go any further. I cannot climb another stair. So they got behind her and each one got on the sides of her butt and pushed her all the rest of the way up so she could zip line.
She got up there and zip lined.
She did. Yeah.
That was in Cancun, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
To my future grandchildren, I want to tell them to realize how special and unique you really are. The children being born now and in the future have volunteered to incarnate at this time to help heal and rebuild this planet, this world. Pray for all of them, those who are here now and those coming in the future. What I really want to say is to go after your vision, your dream. Believe in yourself. Do what's going to make you happy, and hopefully you will be rewarded for your value. I want you to know the truth about everything and to value your journey and to value yourself. our family get-together. I love them so. They are,
Our family get-togethers.
yes,
Bevericks really know how to throw a party.
right. To value the time that we have together. Oh, okay. Something like, have you been waiting for me? You didn't think I'd make it, did you? I believe that there are loved ones there to meet and greet us, that we go to school for a while to learn, to review our life, this life, and to see what we learned and what we didn't learn. And it's beautiful and loving, and we shouldn't be afraid of it at all. No, I believe we reincarnate, go on to another. We choose what we want to do in the next life. No, I don't. Not until I get up there and find what I still need to learn and do. And this is just my belief. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Some of it, although I'd like to eliminate the mistakes. However, that's how we learn and grow, through our mistakes. I believe that everything occurs in our lives, happens for a reason. We agreed to experience these situations in our lives before we came into this incarnation, and that we can learn what we need to learn during this lifetime. One of the things I am learning to be is oh so grateful for everything. For you, my darlings. I am so grateful for you. I have been so blessed. Thank you, Pookie, for making this possible. I lost my voice a long time ago, but if you'll join me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do bushel and a peck for now. I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck, hug around the neck, and a barrel and a heap, barrel and a heap, and I'm talking in my sleep about you, about you. I love you, a bushel and a peck. You bet your pretty neck I do. I doodle doodle doo doo, doodle doodle doo doo, doodle doodle doo doo doo. I want to be remembered as loving, to be an example of goodness, although I haven't always been that. I want to be remembered as meaningful to this family, and to be remembered how special this life was because of all of you. I had a good time. But like I've said throughout, even the bad, there is no good or bad, but even the bad has its purpose, because we wouldn't appreciate the fun and laughter and good times if we didn't have something to compare them to. So life has been good. To be able to say individually to everyone, individually, with a smile, that it's okay, I'm all right, it's been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for all you've done in my life. Uh, and I'll see you again. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we got to do this. Kind of a little emotional at the end, but.
Yeah, I'm